So hello everyone, I'm Shelly Terrell and welcome to American TESOL Presents a free Friday webinars. And so every Friday I'm here and we talk about a different topic, and it's for English language learners, but I use a lot of general education, pedagogy, and instructional practices as well. So don't feel like it has to be specific to that. And today we're going to talk about great game sites for young learners. And there's many game sites out there for young learners. But one of the things I want to talk about is specific games, the kind of games where students are really immersed in them and some of the great things that they can find out. We're going to talk about classroom management, setting these up, and different things like that. But the first thing we have to go through is why games. So how many of you play video games or play games in your classroom, or have just observed a student playing games? And it doesn't have to be really young kids. I work with kids from 2 to 10 years old, and I've also played games with teenagers as well. I've used that in the classroom. But right now I just currently use it with my 4 to 10-year-olds. So that's my current experience in Germany. Okay, that's great. So you'll watch your grandson play. Well, amazing things happen when kids play games. The number one reason, can anyone guess the number one reason why you use games for learning? It starts with an M. Yes, very close. Engagement, motivation. Yes, exactly. Kids love to play games. Adults love to play games. I remember walking in one day, and I heard my husband yelling out some stuff, and I was asking him, well, who are you talking to? And he was playing his PlayStation, and he was talking to a 12-year-old, we're in Germany, across the world, and they were playing this online video game. And I just thought it was so funny because he was really into it, and, they were challenging each other and stuff. And I could just imagine, this 12-year-old and what he was saying, because I could see what my husband was saying to him. So I think that's something that's really fascinating about games. Now, I don't always play a lot of video games myself, but I've learned a lot from observing others, my nephews, my nieces, and different people play games. And one of the things that I really love about games is they're very motivational, but they teach kids very important lessons, and they immerse kids in the language. So what do kids learn from games? Well, you can see in this picture what it probably looks at like in the home or something like this. This is very similar to one of the first ways that I had games set up in my classroom in Texas, because I'm originally from Texas. And now I have it where they play it on the laptop. They learn quite a bit. One of the things they learn, and some of this, I attended this fantastic presentation by Paul Maglione, and he's on Twitter, and we're going to see his site because he developed a site called English Attack. And he did this fantastic presentation with research in the brain in teens. And some of the things that I gained from this presentation was that, with games, you learn about healthy competition. Kids and students, since games are more social, if you begin to play the games that we have now, the Wii, the PlayStation, they all have social components to them. You not only play the game, but you also play the game with someone across the world. You can talk to them in the headset, and you compete with each other, but you do it in a very healthy way. If you've ever seen kids play, they'll take turns. They Yes, they may beat each other, but it doesn't demotivate them. In fact, usually the kid wants to play again so that way he has a chance to beat the other one. So I think it usually I think competition sometimes isn't so great for kids, but with games, it does work. It teaches kids to keep trying because it does it at their own pace. Kids are able to, in a game, they'll spend hours and they'll just keep trying until they get to the next level. They don't quit. It doesn't matter how many times they lose that level. They will not quit until they reach the next level. So it teaches them to keep trying. Learn at your own pace. They don't have a certain time frame when they have to um, get to the next level or anything like that. It's whenever they're able to do it and whenever they find the time to do it. The journey is the award. So with a lot of the games, especially when you think of video games, they have to go through a journey. They have to complete tasks in order to get to the next level. And each level is a little bit harder than the next. You need to gain experience to get to the next level. This is one of my favorite things about games. Unless you get, whatever the tools are from the first level, you undergo the process to understand how to reach the next level. Usually you can't just skip. Sometimes you can if you learn tricks and things like that, but for the most part, you have to gain the experience to get to the next level and apply that knowledge to be at that next level. Now, many times kids will also ask another experienced player, how did this level is really tough, I can't do it, how do I, what did you do, can you help me? And I think that that's really important. Exactly, a lot of practice. And then positive versus negative stress. Now that is something that I got from Paul's presentation was that yes, it's very stressful, but it's a good kind of stress. It's not the kind of stress where it depends, okay? So I understand when people argue about, the body and sitting still, but we're going to talk about that as well with the game setup. But it's very positive stress. They want to complete a task, they want to do these things, but it's something that really is exciting. It's something when you do something, for example, let's say you're planning a lesson and you love it. You just love what it is. It's very stressful for you, but at the end of it all, you don't feel like you lost something out of it. You feel very positive. It's very uplifting when you complete it. So I think that's something really important. All of these things should be part of learning. But unfortunately, a lot of these things are not part of the typical everyday classroom. So that's why I think incorporating games is very important. So how do we set this up? Well, you can do this in different ways. Like I said before, you can make it global. This is easy to do if you have a game console or something like that. It's also easy to do if you have a wiki, and I'll show you how to do that, which is really cool. Individual, that's usually the easiest way if you have a computer lab. I don't. So we don't do individual. They do the individual part at home, and I'll show you that as well. In pairs, if you have enough computers, you can have them do it in pairs. I have mine do it in groups, and they have to share and they have to take turns, and they do. They're 4 to 6 years old in one class, and they share. And when they don't share, then they lose their turn. So they help each other. They're very good. And then as a class, you can have an entire class play one game and also compete with each other in a healthy way. Think about it differently. The kids do not have to, these days, with the amazing things about games, is kids don't have to sit still. Sometimes we think about how unhealthy it is because we imagine that, most kids are sitting down and they're playing with their console. And this is very much the way when I was growing up that I played my Atari. I know that's ancient, but this is the way I used to play. It's no longer like this. You have things like the Wii, where you can get up and you move, and this is how you play the game. You have things like Guitar Hero. And let's say these are expensive, so you can't afford this, or you can't bring the one from home. That's okay, because they're really inexpensive ones. I recently purchased one in America. It was $5, and it was this pad that went on the floor, and it was for Dance Dance Revolution. I think I found it at one of those dollar stores or something. But they have a lot of these games now where they're very, very inexpensive. You can bring them into the classroom and it's set up like a little video game. You do need like maybe a little TV or somewhere to project it. But if you have a projector, if that comes in your classroom, then you have a different way to get the kids moving. This is much healthier, if you think about it, than having kids sit in desks all day for an hour and writing in a worksheet. It's much healthier to have them moving and things like that. Now, there are different games such as Guitar Hero. There are karaoke games. And these have the music so you can sing along. And you may ask, okay, well, it's two people playing. What are the other kids doing? Well, you can notice in this classroom, the other two boys, one is keeping score. The other one, could be blogging about what is going on or writing down, as a reporter, acts as a reporter. And the other kids are just very interested to see what's going on. And then, you can encourage them to you can teach them phrases about that you use in games so that way they can learn to interact with each other. Yeah, it's really excellent for boys. The boys love this. It should be collaborative. I think it's better when kids have to share. One of my students, she used to have a lot of difficulty sharing. She just didn't want to share anything. She would get really upset. Sometimes she'd bang on my keyboard. But after, a few times when, we established that she wasn't going to be able to, play and keep her turn and things like that. We weren't going to be able to play and stuff like that. She learned how to collaborate with the others. She was very good, and then she would try to help the others when they were playing. So I really think that it's better situation if you don't have everyone at a computer. I think it's been better for my class. We only have one laptop that I brought in, and then I also have my iPhone where they also play some games there too. But they work together in a group. And the reason they do that is because we don't have the resources, but also it teaches them to really be able to share with each other, to help each other out, and to do scaffolding and stuff like that, which is so important for development and social skills. Okay, so now I'm going to show you where you can find great games. There's a lot of drill games out there, and they serve a purpose. Yes, the spelling games and things like that. They serve a really good purpose. They really help kids in a fun way do some drilling. But the ones I want to show you, oh, that's a good question, Anna. And that's what I think, okay, so the others, I set up stations. So, okay, so let me read the question out loud so it'll be in the webinar. But Anna asked, what do the others do while some play at the computer? I set up stations. So there's a station for the games. There's a station for podcasting. There's a station for just reading books. There's a station for other games such as playing with, different puzzles and things like that. And the stations works really well for me. And there's also areas set up to where they do their group projects, because I do a lot of projects with the students and they work together to finish projects. And this learning stations has really, really helped. So that way, with my limited resources, my one laptop, I can have up to 4 or 5 play the game. Unless I put it in the big screen, which does happen every once in a while. Like if I bring in something like the PlayStation, they can do Guitar Hero or karaoke or something like that. So those are one way that you can manage it. So that's a very good question. Okay, so I have now. How do you supplement games with what? Okay, so you have learning objectives, and you have to meet these learning objectives. So I like to do it by theme. And you can completely do the English Storytime Wiki. This is my wiki, and it's divided up by game. So I'm going to put this inside the chat box, and I'm going to screen share in just a little bit. So with the Storytime Wiki, it's all by theme. So I have, okay, we're doing animals, and this is a game that supplements or supports either animals and animal vocabulary. And I really try for games that have sound and that use the spoken word. And the reason why I do that is because um, um, the reason that I do this is because I want to make sure that it supports the lesson, or it'll do something with grammar and stuff like that. So I'm going to show you some of the games that we play that my students love and the sites where I find these games quite quickly. But if, for example, you already have themes and you want to just check real quick, you're more than welcome to go to the wiki and see what I already set up for my students. Um, Wikis are great for gaming, by the way. Okay, so let's say that you have a wiki is a free website for, by the way, that's really easy, that has templates for teachers. A wiki, a game is not social by nature. You can make it social with the wiki. There are things you can do such as put wall wisher. A wall wisher is a sticky note service. You can embed it inside the wiki, and the kids can share tips on how to pass a level, for example. So you can make it very social that way. You can have the kids write down graphs that track their progress, and so each week they can update this, and then they can see, this helps them in a healthy competition area because they see who's ahead for the week. So you can do different things like that to make any type of game have a social and collaborative and very interactive component, which I think is really important. Okay, so one of the first games that I really like, now what I mean by games are very specific. There are places you can play online, but games mean that they have to, one, they do achieve some kind of score. They do have to gain and they do beat someone else and stuff like that. There is competition, so that defines the game, that it is a game. And one of the ones I really, really like a lot is Pumpkin English, and it's free currently for teachers. So go get it now because it's not always going to be free. But parents, they do have to purchase it if they in their home. But it is free. It's fantastic. I'm going to show you a video of what this is. This is a virtual world for kids. And this really takes the game concept, it really redefines what a game is, in my opinion. So I'm going to make this bigger. Oh, okay. Let's see. Let me find that. Okay. So I'm going to bring this up, and you should be able to see a video very soon. And you can see what this is because there's no way to explain this.
Pumpkin Online English is a highly effective English education service. This new way of learning offers students the chance to build valuable English and computer skills. Pumpkin Online English teaches language step by step, in the same way that children learn their native language. First listening and speaking,
I have a pumpkin.
then reading, writing, and typing.
What? Oh.
Students navigate through magical online worlds with their own avatar, collecting pets as they complete English learning activities. Each day's content is hidden inside an egg. The students complete each activity within the egg, freeing an animal when they have completed them all. Daily lessons take about 15 minutes. After completing 5 lessons, a new map is opened up. There are 4 maps on each world. At the end of each month of study, a new world opens. Pumpkin Online English has over 700 activities featuring games, question and answer, stories, and more. Let your child enter this magical world of English study.
Okay, so I'm back. So hopefully everyone saw that. There we go. And I do think it's a balance. I saw that in the chat, but yeah, definitely there's a balance that you have to, that you have to have. I'm not saying play play games all the time. I'm just saying that games do serve a role and are great for the classroom. Okay, so let's go back to the to the presentation. So do you see how that one is specifically made for English language learners? They go through each level. They have animals. It's very safe. There's no weird ads or anything like that. So that's why I really like Pumpkin English. I really think you should check it out. And you can even find them on Twitter at Pumpkin English. My other very, very favorite site is the Kinder site. This is by Joel Josephson. And there's over 1,000 games. And you can see it's set up in grids. So it's really easy to determine which kind of game would be great for your lesson plan. You have it by age level. You have it by theme. So it's just really fantastic. There's even games in other languages in case you teach other languages like Spanish and I think even French and things like that. They don't only have games, they also have different stories and stuff like that too. They use a lot of the starfall activities. So it's very interactive. These games are some of the best that I've seen. They're just fantastic. Another place, and we'll screen share these in a minute, is ELT Digital Play. All of these are on the wiki at all of these websites. So don't feel like you have to copy them all right now. You just have to visit the wiki, and on the wiki you'll be able to find all the links. This is by Graham Stanley and Kyle Maurer, and they have this blog, and each it's for English language teaching specifically as well, but even if you just want to see different games that are really incredible to use, they tell you the level, they tell you the language that you can practice, like in this one. It's not only teaching against bullying, but they're also teaching against modules of probability. So they basically have a lesson plan for each and every game that they have found for the kids. So I really recommend ELT Digital Play, and these, for the most part, are free games. They even talk about mobile games that are really great. Nick Jr. I love Nick Jr. It describes a little about the game. My students, their favorite game is the Wonder Pets game. And I used to think they're beginners, they're 4 to 6 years old, they're not going to be able to understand the English. I'll show you it in a while. And the English is a little complicated, but because it immerses them, they're able to figure it out because it's within a context. So it makes the language, they're able to understand and do the task and understand it and figure it out on their own. I stopped trying to help them. I stand back and I act as a facilitator, but I try to let them figure it out because it helps them make connections with the language. Brain Nuke is not specifically for English language teaching, but it's social. So they are immersed in the language. It has several wonderful games for math and English and all sorts of different things, and it's absolutely free. So it's another virtual world for kids, and this time it's a virtual world in a tropical island. So that's another really great one. You probably heard of Learn English Kids. I love many of the games there and the stories. They have really great, what they started doing that I thought was really good is that in their stories now they'll ask kids questions in the middle, and now kids can make choices and it goes to something else. So I really like that they have that in the middle of some of their stories. This is Paul Maglioni's site, which is English Attack. This one is specifically for teenagers. So they have different quizzes and things like that, and different games related to things that teenagers really like and are interested in. Paul Maglioni did a lot of research with this, and it's in beta right now, which means anytime you see beta, it usually means it's free for teachers for a while. So if you're one of the first ones, then you tend to get these sites for free. Okay, so now we're going to screen share so that way you can see some of these. Let me go ahead and, okay, and hopefully you can see this. So I'm going to take my video off for a second because then it'll run less bandwidth. Okay, so, okay, good. Okay, share. So you'll have to tell me if you can see this or not. Okay, so I'm going to show you the Wonder Pets. Can everyone see the Wonder Pets? Say yes if you can. Can someone type in yes in the box? And then I'll know if you can see it. Okay, can everyone hear me? I hope so. Okay, I can't really see the chat box. Yes, okay, good. Thank you for raising your hand. I don't know why the chat box didn't come up. Okay, so hopefully you can hear this. This is their favorite game. And this wasn't made for English language learners, but just to give you an idea of what I mean by cat.
Time for you to take the call.
They have music in this, and it's in a book form. Sorry, it goes very slow because of the screen share.
A being Triceratops, stuck between two rocks. This is alien, we have to help him. Let's see the Triceratops, let's see the Triceratops, let's see the Triceratops. Whee!
Okay, so I'm gonna turn it off now, that one.
Before we go out.
But it tells them a story. That's one thing great about it. It tells them a story. It has the words. It repeats the words. It sings the words. It's cute little animals. And in order to save the Triceratops, they have to do different things like answer the phone and things like that. So the kids have to click on this and they have to do, they really interact with the language. This is the Kinder site. And you can see all the sites listed. So I'm going to go ahead and click on one of them, which is the Happy Pet. You could do this using pets.
Hello, I'm Augie. Can you help me look after this pet dog, please? We
See,
need to keep it healthy and happy and help it find its tail.
so all of these have language components in them, like you can tell. This is the site that I was telling you about the different games that you could play for the website, the ELT Digital Play. And look at all, it tells you the preparation. You get the preparation. They have the walkthrough. What that means is basically they print for you all the game steps so you don't have to necessarily play the game yourself. Now, I don't necessarily recommend that. It's always good to play the game yourself. But this way that you, in case you don't have time or anything like that, it shows you for it. It gives you examples for this bully one. It tells you, I wrote the word bully on the board and asked the class for a definition. And it really shows you every single step in the process with the ELT digital site. Personal reflections, the results. It's really just a fantastic site to find games. And the last one I want to show you is the English attack. This is what it's set up as. It's really easy registration. You just put your username, your password, or you can even connect with Facebook. Many of the teenagers have Facebook, so for them it's really easy for them to connect and kind of set up an account. And this is related specifically to English language learners. So those were the ones I wanted to show you. I'm going to get out of this screen and go back to the other one. Okay, so I'm back. Hello. It's fun for teachers too. Oh, fantastic. So you've used it before. Yay. Okay, so hopefully you got an idea, some great different types of games and stuff for English language learners, and some setup and some ideas on how to manage them. If you have any ideas yourself, feel free. You do have microphone privileges. You won't get on the webcam, so you don't have to worry about anything like that. But you're more than welcome to also to you have the microphone, so all you have to do is at the top click on the little icon that has like a microphone, and then you'll be able to add if you want to speak. Oh, thank you. Okay, so great. Two people have used the English attack. Fantastic. And if you have any ideas whatsoever, you're more than, or how you do the things, then you're more than welcome to come. And I really do think if you have a game console, bring that in, especially if you have things like things where they can move the Wii. The Wii is just one of the most fantastic things that I have seen. And you can play that anywhere. I can put that on the floor. There's a way to set it up to where it can be on the walls, the floor, anywhere. It's so fantastic. Olga, we are going to talk about games, regular games as well too, because those are very important. And I think, yeah, definitely. I think the idea is one of the things that I say in one of the blog posts. Most of these webinars are based on a blog post. Is that as long as there's play in the classroom, I don't think that it's a bad thing when they say that young learner teachers are categorized as all they do is play. If the children are learning while they're playing, I think that it's a lasting impression for them. It's really fantastic for development. So any type of games, it doesn't have to be video games, but I really do think that play is important for kids. They don't get enough time. Um, the majority of the day they're in school, and they don't get to go outside and play anymore like they used to. I remember, I used to go outside and play all the time. Now kids don't do that. So I think if they get a chance to do it in the classroom, if they get to move around and do different things like that, even with video games, they can move around now. With then it's really great for them health-wise as well. It's much better than being in a desk. That's a fantastic idea. Um, if it'll help to invite parents in for a hands-on experience. I take it for granted. In Germany, my parents, they have to come in for the first couple of meetings. The parents are allowed to be in there with the kids, especially the 2-year-olds. And they do. They like to stay in, and they like to hang out with the kids. So my parents automatically get this in there. They see exactly what I do, and they get to, voice their opinions then if they don't like it. But most of the time, they're really excited about it, and they invite other people along as well. So in Germany, most of the teachers, I'm very fortunate because most of the teachers say that they have a problem that the parents are too involved in in the classroom. But coming from America, well, the district that I was in, not many parents could do that. So for me, it's a blessing. I really think it's wonderful the parents get to be there. And the parents are great. They offer a lot of advice for the wiki. And they've told me a lot of things that they like to see, and they're very open once they see how things work.